Well, folks, thanks for joining me in the next video of our series. We're just about to deliver, but to deliver, you need to be parked. So let's park and decouple. Fruits. We just delivered fruits. And we are now level 2. As a level 2, we need to decide where our next benefit will go. And initially, I mentioned trying to get these hazardous applied. That way, we can get more variety of trips. And then once we've got a good variety, we're sure we're going to have a trip to take. Then we can make those trips more valuable by adjusting high value, fragile, and just in time. And then after those, then finally we can start filling in long distance and fuel economy, which in my opinion are the least valuable. So I'm going to apply hazardous cargo. We received some email. Special transports. Folks are needed to take some really big loads. So we might consider that a little later on, but not right now. Thank you for the email. Let's find some work. Quick job. We're looking for price per distance. Now, these escorted trips are really, really juicy as far as the money's concerned, but they're also really pokey. So don't automatically jump to them. There's a $40 trip, Butte to Kalispell. That looks wonderful. Let's come up here to Helena, 34, $40 in Butte. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the juiciest. 23 in Evanston, 27 in Steamboat Springs, 37 in Denver, 31 in Oklahoma, 25 in Dallas, 23 in New Mexico, 22 in Arizona, 22 in Nevada, 19 in California, 23 in Oregon, 29 in Washington State, and 15 in Vancouver. So let's go to that Butte trip. $40 hauling fertilizer. Let's take it. $8:30 p.m. Yeah. So it's starting to get dark, and I'm going to, I don't like to drive in the dark, and I don't want to have to accept a late penalty. But some of these deliveries, they do have a margin, a time margin. So you won't necessarily be late if you take a rest. And again, we're not going to drive intensely through the dark. So I'm going to take a rest. Actually, I'm going to wait until we lose the daylight that we have. And then I'll take a rest, a small rest, to maximize our time in the daylight. Here's what our load looks like. Fertilizer. It's amazing that fertilizer, just horse poop, is one of the better paying jobs. The cab over design truck is almost gone from the United States. There was a time back in the 70s when it was really popular. And of course, in Europe, cab overs are the standard. Their main advantage, let's turn the lights on. Their main advantage is that they offer much better maneuvering. So if you're in city environments hauling normal cargo, the cab over design makes a lot of sense. Also, in the wintertime, you're sitting right over the doghouse where the engine is stored, so keeping your cab nice and toasty warm is a whole lot easier. But cab overs are noisy, and they tend to be kidney punchers. You don't get a very smooth ride. So in the United States, since the law does not mandate cab over designs, you'll see mostly conventional designs. Now, I'm not going to be dissuaded by this unfortunate accident, because if I'd taken that detour, it could be fairly short. It could be hundreds of miles. So don't be forced into a detour. Speed limit is 70. Turn on the cruise control at 38, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Okay, I imagine our cruise is now set for 70. 203 miles to go. It's 9:30 at night. Just the small vestiges of daylight remaining. So it's time to find a place to get a little bit of sleep. Looks like there's a rest area coming up. Truck stop. No need for fuel. remember, at this stage, if we were to buy fuel, we would not have to pay for it. That would be a company expense. Flying J's and Pilot truck stops are all around the United States. They started in Salt Lake City, Utah. A Mormon family started them, members of the Church of Latter-day Saints, and initially they were known for their cleanliness. Boy, the Flying J's and Pilots, the difference between a Flying J and a pilot, usually a pilot, they both have food options. But usually pilots offer food as fast food. And then Flying J's usually have sit-down restaurants. But they're not owned by the Mormons anymore. It's a typical blended corporate relationship now. And some people argue that the quality has dropped since that happened. I won't argue with that. You gotta hit the sweet spot. I want to hit the sweet spot where we're offered the chance to rest, but I also want to not get myself pinched in to get out the next morning. I don't want to do any backing. Come on, give me a rest opportunity. I'm not going to be here anywhere near as long as some of these other trucks. I don't remember ever having this much challenge finding the rest. And I have had that happen where there just will be some stops in the map where rest is indicated, but it never sets off the rest icon and allows you to actually rest. So that seems to be what's happening here, and we will continue with our delivery, even in the dark. Sorry to say, it was a little bit of a wasted effort. In real life, I'm not a night driver at all. The way I like to drive my days in real life is to start the day early, usually about 4:30 or 4:45. I drive for about an hour with just silence, the open road, the rumble of the hum of the tires, no music on the radio, no coffee in my hand. And then I'll come upon, I'm not always a Starbucks, but most of the time a Starbucks. They usually open about 5:30. And I'll get myself some coffee. And then about 6 or 6:30, other cars will start to join me on the interstate, especially as I'm approaching larger cities. I'll turn the music on. I'll turn an audio book or some talk radio on. About noon or so, I'm thinking about how far my driving day will be. And about 2 o'clock, I'm looking for a hotel. By 3 o'clock, I want to be in the hotel. I want to be Johnny, first one on the spot at the hotel, so I have total command of the parking lot, and I can position myself in such a way that I won't be pinched in. Cruise control on, up to 65. And that way, the next morning, 4:30 or so, I can head on out before most of the hotel occupants have rustled from their bed. For delivery, I prefer to be in the delivery city the night before delivery. That doesn't always happen, but that's what I like. I certainly don't want to drive any more than 200 miles on delivery morning. Because remember, I've got to get an Uber to the airport, got to get on a plane, and I don't like getting home in the dark either. I like to be on the first flight of the day or one of the early flights of the day. And we just crashed. Okay, back. Let's see if we can get back in. And there's our 17 minutes. So we're going to stop the recording. And we'll join you for the next video. Thanks for riding along.